The situation is impossible, but God's solution is delightful. I want you to notice verse 13 for God's solution. But the angel said to him, "Do not be afraid, Zechariah. Your prayer has been heard, and your wife Elizabeth will bear you a son, and you are to give him the name John. He will be a joy and a delight to you, and many will rejoice because of his birth, for he will be great in the sight of the Lord." God's solution is a birth announcement. It's a birth announcement. And it comes at the very high point, the pinnacle of Zechariah's career. He served as a priest, and as an order of priests, there was like 18,000 of them in Jerusalem. And what they would do is twice a year, they would get to go into the temple and serve as part of worship. Okay, only twice a year. And what they would do is they would offer incense on the incense altar before the Lord. And so you normally, unless you're serving as a priest, you can't get that close to God. And so here is Zechariah in the high point of his career, on the high point day of his day, not just praying, but offering prayers for the people. That's what priests do, is they represent, they're like the representatives, the elected representatives that we send to Washington, only hopefully less corrupted, and actually do what they're supposed to do. And in this case, Zechariah's representation was to bring the people before God through prayer. And the incense and the smoke from the incense represents prayers going up into heaven. And so there he is standing in front of the altar of the incense with the incense on fire, burning and smoking up the room, smelling sweet. And suddenly an angel appears before him, standing next to the altar. Pause the dramatic music, right? And we get the reaction that he has. He's scared half to death. He goes into a full-blown panic, because usually when angels come, it usually is not always great news. It's usually, how dare you come in here with unconfessed sin? I mean, it was very common for priests to fall dead while they're doing this, because if they were caught up in something they shouldn't be caught up in, and they go in and offer strange fire or do it wrong, they will meet their maker on that day. There's no, mincing words about it. That's the end for them. And so he goes into a full-blown panic right there in the middle of his prayer life, right on the high point day of his career, of his year. He's scared half to death. I'm just wondering, do the high points of your life, are they punctuated by prayer? Can you look back to times in your life when you knew you were at the absolute zenith? You were on the mountaintop, and know that you're praying when you did that. Either thanking God for bringing you there, or just in prayer, realizing that this is the culmination of so many prayers that have gone on before. That's what was going on with Zechariah. He was at the high point on a day when he was praying, and the angel of the Lord says something very interesting to him. He says, "Zechariah, don't be afraid, your prayers have been answered." And you might go, "Gosh, which ones? I'm praying for the whole nation. I've been praying for myself. I'm praying for the other priests. I'm praying for the temple. I'm praying against the Romans. Which one?" Yes. Yes. Sometimes it's very interesting the way God answers prayers. We think of them as, 1,000 different things for 1,000 different people. What if the answers to all of your prayers were just one thing? And suddenly, God revealed to you it's one thing. Not just you, but all of your friends, all of your family. What if it was your whole country? What if we have been praying for the country, been praying for politicians, praying for the economy, praying for real estate, praying for jobs, praying for all these things? What if God revealed, hey, it's not 10,000 things, it's not a political party, it's one thing. One thing is the answer to your prayers. Zechariah, your prayers have been answered. Your prayer has been answered. Really? Which one? Yes. Yes. You might say, well, I've been praying for a son my whole life, or a child my whole life, and I'm praying for the nation. And he says, yes, it's the same thing.